Okay, so let's talk American Born Chinese episode 2. So it starts off with basically a recap through Wei Shun and Guinan. So, and I guess that was the whole point of this because she was asking him things that she knew the answer to. But anyway, so he basically recaps what he's doing and why, but we also get more information. We already know that he had a dream and he's going after the fourth scroll, and that the dream had a crane, and that he is looking for a guide to that fourth scroll. Now, that would explain why he's pressing on Jin so hard, because he thinks Jin is his guide, which makes you wonder, that's probably why he kept wanting him to come to his place and, read the rest of the comics, because I'm still not convinced that those comics exist. I'm thinking he's just using that as a way to lure Jin in, which, if it's true that it's totally made up, it's kind of shitty. But I also understand that to just tell him, you would think that Wei Shun is completely insane or something. So, but anyway, so Guinan asks him where is he keeping the iron staff, and he takes that little thing out of his ear, and she's like, "What is it with you and your father? You're hiding things in your ears." so he's like, "Okay, why don't you take me back to Earth?" Because he thinks that he's back home and he has to dive down again to get to Earth. And she's like, "Oh no, we never left, and it was just a mass illusion that she created." And so he's back to looking like Wei Shun, the human, and Guinan looks like she's wearing coveralls and a baseball cap. So I guess that's how they're going to explain him living on in this city in California, is that now he has, I don't know if she's going to be a parent or just a guardian or something. But he is convinced that Jin is the one who's going to help him. So he runs into Jin. Now this is a week later. He runs into Jin, and Jin sees Travis. Travis sees him, and he's not happy. Which you can't really blame him because, well, he did at least attack him and at worst break his damn nose. So, can't blame him. And Wei Shun is again trying to give him his action figure, which he now has put the iron staff in. Now we see this being, and before I heard the pig noises, I thought that maybe this is Guinan keeping an eye on everything. But the huge hat was like, she's already looking like anybody else who lives there. I don't know why she needs that hat. And it turns out it's not her. So Wei Shun, everybody, goes back into the school, goes to class. And Wei Shun notices that, well, actually, first Pigsy is going through his locker, at least I hope it's his locker, and he's just making a general mess. Wei Shun, while this is happening, the dad, I'll continue with the dad and then go back. The dad is having a, he tries to have a conversation with the boss, and it's not going well because he doesn't have fantasy football interests. He tried to talk football and it failed miserably. So then he's in his car jamming out to Bon Jovi on blast. So the boss finds him, and it turns out that he's a big Bon Jovi fan. So they're bonding over Bon Jovi. And he is about to ask him for a promotion, but then he finds out he's retiring in a month. So he tells his wife that, oh, I was going to ask, but he's retiring in a month, so I'm too late. Okay, two things. One, it's in a month. Why can't he promote you before then? I fail to see what the problem is. Number two, whoever takes over could potentially promote you because they'll see how long you've been with the company, what you've done for the company. That's all written down. That should not be hard to find out. And then, of course, there's the option that Jin's mother gives, which is apply for the job. He's retiring. You need someone to lead the division. Go for it. And, of course, he's hemming and hawing at that. So there's a parallel here between him and Jin. Because Jin can't seem to shake the fact that no matter what happens, whatever his friends do to him, they're his friends, and he's come hell or high water, he wants them to be his friends, and he wants to do soccer. Now, the doing soccer part, okay, but seriously, dude, these are not your friends. Now, Greg might be, that's an iffy one, but I'll get to that. So, Jin gets to school, and apparently there's a protest going on by the Culture Club, who are, what I can see, all Asians. Which, this is California. Why are there no Hispanics? But anyway. Actually, I don't know, was, Naj there? I don't know, I all I saw was Susie. But, so, they want justice for Jin because of that horribly offensive TikTok. And he wants no part of it, of course, because he just wants to keep his head down and be, like he said later, a normal kid. Which, yeah, Susie is the abnormal one. I mean, most teenagers just want to survive high school. They're not interested in making waves. So, yeah. And, so Jin, there's an announcement. Susie makes an announcement, and she's trying to get Jin to make an announcement about how offensive he found and how unfunny he found the TikTok, which he eventually gives a very grown-up response. I'm not sure I completely believe him, but based on his reaction when it first happened, but I'm going to still say it's a grown-up response. But anyway, so Susie gets Wei Shun to help out. And the way he describes Jin is just so cringy. And I felt so bad for Jin because he's like, oh my god, I just want to sink through the floor. Earth swallow me up whole right now. But I do understand their viewpoint too, because it probably would have been less problematic if they didn't do that overlay of from Beyond Repair. You know, this idea that it's an Asian thing or something. Maybe that's what got them. So I get it. And you know, like Jin said later, I can't tell you what to think, because if someone's going to find something offensive, then that's offensive to them. That doesn't mean everyone in that group is going to find it offensive, and Jin claims he doesn't. It's just a harmless joke. Which, I'm sorry, tell that to Travis's nose. No, you didn't find it a harmless joke last week when you attacked Travis. So he goes up and makes a statement after Greg asked him to. Now, this could go two ways with Greg. It's possible Greg actually truly likes Jin. That he's not just being a jerk for being a jerk's sake. I think he's in a similar position as Jin, where he even said that he did something because he wanted to make the guys on varsity laugh. So he's basically saying the guys on varsity are super racist, and so I did a racist thing so they would find it funny. So it's possible he doesn't actually hold any racist views, and he truly was just trying to get in with the it crowd, just like Jin is trying to do, and he's not actually a dick. That's entirely possible. The rest of them, I don't know, but it's possible. But the fact that Greg also wanted him to put in a good word to the principal so he doesn't get into trouble, it's like, so does he truly believe that he was just, you know, doing, that he didn't want to do something offensive? He was just trying to make this group of people laugh, and he knew that they were in fact racist? Or is he just claiming that to keep Jin in his good graces and help him get out of, I don't know what the punishment would be, if it would be a suspension or whatever. So it could go both ways. So, but the fact that Greg approached him alone and not with the rest of the peanut gallery does embolden the fact that maybe, just maybe, he's not the jerk that he's made out to be. Or he's, like I said, he's just saying it because he got caught, because Wei Shun pointed out that it was Greg who took the TikTok. It could go either way at this point. But anyway, Jin kind of, sort of weasels out of it. You know, he sort of is accepting of what Greg said, but he goes by himself to talk to the coach. And he And I'm sure the main reason the coach is giving him a second chance is not because of anything Greg said, not because of anything Jin said, but because he saw what he could do. Because I think this guy is clueless as to what goes on at school. Because literally just before Jin goes to see the coach was when he gave his statement. And how is it that nobody on staff would know about it? I do not know, because that was a major deal. But anyway. So, he agrees that the coach agrees that if you help put together the equipment room, then you can get a chance. And of course, Jin has the damnedest time picking up the dumbbells. And of course, we don't know what weight are on the dumbbells. And I wouldn't make fun of him regardless, because I'm a weakling, so I would make fun of him regardless. But Wei Shun comes to help him, and of course Wei Shun has no problem carrying it. It's like, how did you do that? It's like, it's called upper body strength, Jin. Some people actually have that. And of course, in Wei Shun's case, he's not human, but, And then Wei Shun puts the weights down, and it immediately destroys the entire weight room. I'm not sure how that happened. I mean, obviously the equipment in the equipment room was defective to begin with. They blamed it on the fire extinguisher that went off, but no, I mean, the equipment should be strong enough to hold those weights. So if it can't, there's something wrong with that. So, Susie calls out Jin. Of course, Jin is upset because he's like, oh, well, I just screwed my chance. And Susie is like, calling him basically a traitor for betraying the community because he said that this is perfectly fine. Now, he did actually say that I can't tell others what to think. And that's the hard part about communities, minority communities, is that what one group will find offensive, what one person will find offensive, another one of the same community will not. Because everyone has their own idea of what is offensive. And yes, obviously, the community should work at educating people. Like, when, what is this girl's name? Amelia? When she went and apologized to Jin about her behavior, that she felt that that's what caused the incident. And, Jin's like, don't ever blame yourself for anything ever, which I thought was adorable. Her friend was like, I'm a fan of BTS. Okay, check. The man is of Chinese descent. BTS is Korean. So instead of Susie and the rest of the culture club getting upset over a TikTok, which, the only person who should get upset over that is Jin, because it happened to him. But maybe educate people that Asia is not a monolith, that there are separate countries within Asia. That might actually work better to advancing the community than taking offense on behalf of other people, which I do get. I remember being in a cab, and this one cab driver is having a very bad day, went on a racist diatribe complete with really bad racist jokes. And I felt very uncomfortable being in that cab with him. And of course, my main concern was if he says this to the wrong person, because the community I was in was 50%, well, yeah, about 50% black, around close to 50% Hispanic, and just a smattering of whites. And so the chance, and one of our police officers that did security, he hit the mother of his child is white. So I'm quite well aware, not that I wouldn't have been aware before this, but I'm aware, given the community we're in, that you say this to the wrong person, you're in a lot of trouble. So I felt very uncomfortable, and I did, call the dispatcher. Again, it wasn't because I was offended, even though I did feel uncomfortable having to listen to him. I really wanted to get out of that cab so bad. I'm like, I'll just walk. Yeah, I'll just do that. So I do get feeling uncomfortable on behalf of another race, but it's not up to you to take offense on their behalf. If they're offended, they're offended. I've had men who would stick up for me, and this was mostly online, who would stick up for me when someone would, oh, I don't know, call me a bitch, or I don't know, talk about my weight, or talk about my sexual proclivities. And I would have men come to my defense, which I'm happy about. I'm glad that they felt like they needed to, like they felt like they should jump in to defend me because they respected me that much. But at the same time, I was like, dude, I don't care if they call me that. I really don't. Which you feel bad about mentioning it, but it's like, yeah, they could just, fuck right off. It's fine. I'm not going to let this get to me. So yeah, I understand wanting to protect someone else, but also wonder if that person, number one, finds something offensive and needs to be protected. Now, Jin at this point is trying so hard to be normal that, when at least Susie was appreciative that he's being honest. But she's like, why do you want to be normal? And that's a question a lot of children should hear because, like I said, this brings back so many memories, none of them good. And I mean, I have friends, don't get me wrong, but I get, wanting to be part of the it crowd and, not wanting to rock the boat in order to do that. I do understand that. Um, but anyway, so I do believe that by the end of this show, Jin is no longer going. He might still go out for soccer because it seems like he likes soccer and he wants to play on the team, but that he won't feel like he has to hang out with the other soccer players. That he'll understand that hanging out with his best friend is more important, talking comics and doing this, that, and the other thing. Someone who shares a lot more of his interests, even if he's not maybe as interested in soccer, because he can be a fan of Jin and want Jin to do well at soccer without being a soccer fan. So hopefully Jin does come to that conclusion that it's perfectly okay. He doesn't have to hang out with the rest of the soccer team constantly. He doesn't have to be the popular one to, make it through school, which I know easier said than done, but whatever. Hopefully by the end. And So while all this is happening, Wei Shan is having a fight with Pigsy. He catches Pigsy going through his locker, and he confronts him, and they start fighting. Now, this montage was happening while school was still going, so it's like, wait, why is there nobody around Wei Shan while he's confronting Pigsy? Heck, why is there nobody around when Pigsy is going through people's lockers? So I'm assuming that even though it was interlaid, that this was happening after school. So Jin is looking for Wei Shan because, again, Wei Shan put his action figure with the iron staff in his backpack, and he wants to return it because he's getting seriously annoyed, and he's about to find out what the hell's going on. So he hears Wei Shan's voice. He asks, if it's him, and until he notices that there's a fight going on, because a hole tries to get made right in front of him. So he goes into the kitchen, and this is the most hilarious fight because they're fighting, and all Wei Shan needs to do is grab a pastry or something and distract Pigsy with it. And he's like, look, my dad tried to get the staff back. He didn't succeed. You're not succeeding either. So I don't know if Pigsy came on his own accord or if his father sent him, because he called him a little thief. So it leads me to believe that this was Pigsy's idea himself, that this wasn't something that he decided with Wei Shan's father to go down and try to get the staff. I think it was something that Pigsy came up all on his own. But anyway, Jin comes to see what's going on and is almost immediately knocked unconscious. So Wei Shan basically tells Pigsy, I'm not giving this back until until I've accomplished my quest. My father didn't succeed in getting it back. You're not either. Just go and leave me in peace. And then you see him looking over Jin. So obviously the next episode is going to be Jin finding out who Wei Shan is, why he's there, why he keeps giving him that damn action figure. He might actually find out whether those comics actually exist, or what he's calling comics are the 3 other scrolls, because he's looking for the 4th scroll. We'll find out more about whether he was telling the truth about that. And who knows, maybe Jin will go to his place and we'll see Guinan there. So, the only thing we do not know yet is, did his father go back to heaven? What happened to him? Because, I figured once they introduced the character, we'd see him again, but we didn't even see him in flashbacks or anything. Didn't see him on his throne, we saw nothing. Let's see if I'm missing anything from this episode, because I think I've been talking longer than the episode was, or close to it. I think I covered everything. Also, hopefully by the end, I'm predicting that that Jin's father is going to, if not get the promotion, at least, get the job that his boss is leaving, that he'll at least apply. But hopefully it'll get to the point where he will get the job. Because we know that Jin is going to successfully help Wei Shun. It just depends on how that affects the rest of his life and whether he chooses to hang out with his nerdier friend or with his jock friends. Which I'm still not completely convinced that all of them are truly his friends. That it's just a friendship by convenience. That I don't know how much they actually like Jin. Greg is still up in the air. Travis, well, if there was any semblance of liking Jin, that went away when Jin tried to kill him. So anyway, I think I have everything covered, and I will see you guys in the next video.